Hi folks, it's Jack Malcolm, and this is the final episode in the 7 C's of Max Cred series. If you have done everything I've talked about so far, you are guaranteed to be the most credible person in any room you walk into. And that's a great asset. But just like any other asset, you need to protect it, you need to maintain it, and you need to grow it. And that's what I'm going to talk about in this final video, which is all about cultivating your credibility. Now, cultivating your credibility is about protecting and growing your knowledge base, and it's also about protecting and growing the perception that other people have of you over time. So let's take those one by one. There are two threats to your knowledge base. The first one is that you become so wrapped up and you start buying into the whole idea of your own credibility that you tend to overstate your case. You lose what's called calibration, and calibration is a self-awareness as to how accurate you are when you make predictions based on your knowledge. So if you tell people that you're 80% sure that that deal is going to close in the next quarter, how often is that 80% correct? Are you usually overconfident or underconfident? Most people, you won't be surprised to know, are overconfident, but you may be surprised to know that one study found 99% of the people who took the study were overconfident. So you need to be very careful to rein yourself in and make sure that you're very clear in your own mind what's fact and what's opinion, and you're also very clear with other people. You may want to test your calibration, as a matter of fact, and one of the great things you can do is go to a website called Projection Point, take their little test, and it may humble you a little bit. So first of all, know what you don't know, and then second, realize that no matter how credible you are right now, even if you're at the top of your field, if you don't engage in lifelong learning, that's a wasting asset. One of the tragedies I've seen of a lot of the people that I coach is that they work so hard to get their degree or to get the credentials that they tend to coast on their knowledge. And the problem is that the world is changing a lot faster than it used to. So a lot of knowledge that you have is going to be either obsolete, or it's going to be wrong, or it's going to be incomplete. And the second thing is that as you rise in an organization, the types of knowledge that you need to have in order to succeed at your job tend to change as well. So you need to keep up with that. Now, there's a whole idea called a hedgehog and a fox. And a hedgehog knows one thing very well. The fox knows a lot of things. Is it better to be a hedgehog or a fox? And the short answer is it's better to be a foxy hedgehog. And what I mean by that is be a hedgehog early in your career to establish your expertise in one field, but then as you grow, expand your knowledge base, learn your business, learn your industry, read about the wider world, because there's going to be more and more demands on your knowledge, much broader and much higher as you go. That brings us to the second point about credibility. You need to cultivate the impression that other people have of you. Now, that may sound a little distasteful to you, but remember that credibility is not something you have, it's something that others give to you. So the first thing is you need to be well aware of how others perceive you. Maybe you need to ask a trusted friend or get a coach or get some 360 feedback or something like that, but have a pretty clear understanding of how others see you. Second, and this is really distasteful for a lot of people, especially people who say, hey, I should be so good at my job, I shouldn't need to worry about office politics. But politics is critical. In fact, the more credible you get, the more other people may have reasons to try to chop you down. And they're not going to do it in public. They're going to do it behind you. They're going to impugn your motives, your credibility, your knowledge. So you need to keep your finger on the pulse. You need to play politics. You may not want to, but remember, Plato said that those who refuse to engage in politics are destined to be governed by their inferiors. Finally, you need to grow your credibility. And the best way to do that is to expand your network. It's great to have a lot of the answers, but a lot of the times you're not going to have a lot of the answers, but you can also borrow credibility from other people by knowing who knows. So if you associate with other credible people, you're seen in a better light and you get a lot more knowledge that makes you more credible to others as well. Second is nourish your network. Use your credibility. Everything you've learned here in Max Cred so far, use it as a force for good. And what I mean by that is give other people information they need to succeed at their jobs. Help other people out, and that's going to grow your credibility, your liking, and your network over time. So this brings us to the end of the Max Cred series. I hope you've enjoyed it. I hope you've learned something from it. And now the critical thing is you need to go back and you need to start practicing it, and you need to practice it consistently. And if this has whetted your appetite and you want to learn more about MaxCred, go to my website, jackmalcolm.com, go to the blog, and I've got every one of these videos in a much expanded form, and you're also going to have the written transcript as well.